This follows me around when I walk.
As your balls are tussling with one another inside of your boxers?
No, I'm just a proud member of r/I'm very badass.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Is that r/incel?
Jesus Christ. It's like the character in We're the Millers who has the no regrets tattoo across his chest.
No regrets.
Like, not one? Not even a single letter?
No, not one. Welcome, friends and neighbors, to this wonderful, bellicose, and beautiful edition of the Disinformed podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm John.
And I'm Michael.
Welcome back, everybody. We are happy to have you for this.
Drastic climax.
The abrupt cessation of music without any warning.
I swear it never happens like this.
That Uncle Touchy, he gets us every time.
We
it's
are
just when you
being
think he's done.
watched by MacLeod as we speak.
Can we talk about why you decided to do that? Did we just need to have Big Brother watching us the entire time?
Because, like, every time I always forget to download the intro music right into the very beginning. Like, I always end up leaving that page up, so I'm like, why not? And then we talked about him, so I'm like, I'm just going to blow his face up so that it's literally taking up the whole screen.
Well, I took a picture and I sent it to our group chat, so Shane, who graciously handles the Instagram and socials, he'll throw that up.
Yeah, you can see Uncle Touchy's overbearing view.
He looks like a disappointed parent, and I wonder if that's his only face. You know, like how there's two modes, it's like you're asleep or you're awake with one expression. I think that's just his one expression. I don't think he has anything else.
That looks the way that, you know, like the first time that your father walks into the bathroom and you didn't lock the door and you're just ceaselessly masturbating on the toilet and he's like, oh, God.
He kind of just looks like a musician who makes royalty-free music.
It's supposed to, like the face your mother made when she walked in on me masturbating, which was like jaw hit the floor and she salivated ceaselessly. It's like a dog waiting for dinner, just...
So two things come to mind. One is this episode of Rick and... It's the pilot of Rick and Morty.
Okay.
And outside of Rick saying Morty's name over 100 times in the episode, there's this one scene where he goes, like, there's this monologue, and then he stops mid-sentence, and just a big pool of drool comes down, and it just starts going lower and lower, then he sucks it back up. So it's either that, my mom did, or similar thing, different show/movie, Pennywise, and I think Chapter 1 did a similar thing, where he just, like, tones off. Oh, no, it's Chapter 2. He's talking to the little girl underneath the bleachers.
It just drools out. Yeah. It was kind of a combination of both because, you know, her eye went a little wonky and then the drool and then she sucked it back up.
That was actually a stroke.
It was after I was finished. She sucked it back up. So that is one of the, not to digress even further on this, but isn't that one of the, I know it's supposed to turn somebody on. That is the most sickening thing in the world when like someone...
What, spit?
Follow, like, after they've swallowed the semen, or, like, they've gotten all the semen in their mouth, and then they start spitting it in and out, and, like, sucking it through their teeth, and, like, that sucking up and letting it drip. That makes me want to puke.
I'm going to apologize to your girlfriend right now.
Do it.
I agree with you 100%. And I had this moment, I think it was last week or the week before, where I found the video that I wanted to watch, and I was past the point of no return of
That's
like
one.
I was past the point of no return, and then the video took a drastic turn where they started doing things like that, but I couldn't stop. And what flashed into the back of my head as and after I finished was, every day we fall a little bit farther from God's grace.
I fell so far, it felt like I'm at the bottom of the Niagara Falls right now.
It was bad. It was really bad. I laughed out loud of how bad it was, where I don't even remember exactly what it was, but it was kind of traumatizing to the point
It really
where I think
is.
it might have awoken something inside me.
Oh, no.
The difficult thing about that is, like, it's like you've and I've talked about, is you don't know until you're already, pardon the pun, balls deep into, like, watching a video, and then all of a sudden, like, it turns violent, where suddenly he's, like, slapping her, like, completely across the face as hard as possible, and you hear her yelp, and you're like, they filmed this, they released it, and now I'm watching it, trying to maintain an erection.
Yeah, and let's be real. Like, most of the time, this is the 12-minute free clip on whichever site that is really a 40-minute video. So by the time you get to that point in your 12-minute video, you can't even imagine what happens after. Or, like, in between that and the hypercut to the finish shot.
Yeah, this one they bring out, like, the spiked sort of mace and start hitting her over the head with it.
So it's like when you see the thumbnail at the beginning and it's just, like, very pleasant looking. And the woman's really happy. There's a smile, makeup's all bright. And then you see the very end of the video and there's... yeah, like that.
She looks like Pennywise putting the makeup on.
Well, I guess that's a good enough segue.
I like that that has officially been built into our lexicon now, as well as segue has become our thing. Can we take a moment and talk about how the last episode is officially, like, jumped into everyone's consciousness as our favorite episode?
Yep, that is my favorite episode of all time.
Yeah.
I was debating never talking to either of you again, and then I listened to that yesterday, and it legitimately made my day.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
We'll just break our arms jerking ourselves off here. But
yeah.
No, it was a good episode.
I mean, if you want to try and justify why we want to talk about it, it is our quad centennial episode.
Shut up, nerd. Well, no, for me, it's going to become that episode where it's like, hey, if you want a good jumping off point as far as, like, where our humor is, and kind of, like, just the lay of the land, like, that's a really good place to start.
It's fun to dip your toe in the water there. Of like, okay.
Other than that, and I think Logan is the one who told me that he started off, like, randomly, he just kind of, like, shuffled it, and he started with goop. And he said that is also a really good jumping off point. And we have this really weird thing happening where we talk about things, and then suddenly they keep... Either they were relevant and we just are ignorant and didn't know, or they become relevant again. And I'm not saying that we have anything to do with
Certainly
that, but
not.
we do.
No.
So Gwyneth Paltrow owes us money for her Netflix show.
Yes.
So I actually started, I think I mentioned it, like, at some point, but I did that episode because I watched a YouTube. Oh, wow. That sounded a lot better. One day I will learn how to actually speak correctly into the mic.
I think you're afraid I'm going to yell at you, so you just want to stay as far off mic so I can't actually hear what you're saying.
If I don't hear, then maybe it wasn't stupid.
If he can't hear the word I'm saying, he can't say I mispronounced it.
Kevin MacLeod sees you, and he's very, very disappointed.
He's looking right at me. It's his, like, soul. Like,
I would say...
just like the soul of his being is just judging and just disappointed in me.
Probably the first time where I'm going to go ahead and say that the Instagram needs... Can you... Shane makes all the graphics for the announcements for the episodes, so I kind of feel like you have to use his fucking face for this one.
As long as you cite him.
Do I also have to put Uncle Touchy over his face?
What if you give him a face tattoo?
It's like a red tear coming out of his eye.
You could draw Pennywise's smile. Like, you could...
in saliva. Because your
and
disease
you do this
is
all
killing
on your
me.
phone, don't you?
No, I do it. They have an app on your phone that you can do. I use the web-based application for it. So,
because I've always been really impressed with what you accomplish.
Bless you.
Yeah. Well, you're the only one who wants to. So
yeah, it's basically it's the last girl at the party. I'm taking her home. So you want to touch my balls? Oh, good.
Sorry.
Well, so I'm going to let you start, but there's an interesting thing happening, and it just so happened to be right on the cusp of an event, and since we're now recording this close enough to release date, it'll be topical. So there's an outbreak at the place that we work Because I've gotten any number
Oh my
of phone
gosh.
calls
I was gonna
about
make a
people
mention.
who are
Yeah.
afraid of a Mexican beer somehow poisoning them to death.
You're fucking kidding me.
No, I actually had someone call and say, like, I can't have my son coming to your school because of that virus. And I'm like, why are you calling me? Like, I'm not stopping anyone.
I'm the librarian. Or,
And
oh,
then the reason he said it is he said his son saw a bunch of those people walking around in those masks.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Really?
Now, here's the thing.
It-
There is an actual cultural touchstone
Yes.
to this, because as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, most of the individuals of, you know, kind of like the Asiatic descent, that is a courtesy to, if you are sick, to not sort of like perpetuate it in the general culture because they're all so close to one another. Secondarily, it's also to prevent you from getting anything. That's just precautionary.
Yeah.
But somehow the American consciousness has co-opted this back to the Wild West, where if you're wearing a mask, we can't trust you. Like,
Yeah.
you're going to try to steal things from us, or you're going to give us that Hava Corona. And
And you're saying this because when I got back from my trip, I got sick before. I woke up the day that I left to go to Chicago feeling like I was probably getting sick. And then you play the mental, like, I'm not getting sick if I will it. If I will it hard enough that I'm not getting sick, I'm not getting sick. But anyway, when I got back, I kind of gave you a heads up, like, hey, I'm good to go. I'll be good to go for this thing that we have going on. Just going to let you know, though, I might be a little rough. And I joked. I said, I think I probably have the coronavirus and I'm probably dying.
I got the Captain Trips on my trip.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. And then it reminded me of or you have a story about swine flu.
Oh, yes. So, back in the day, right at the height of the H1N1, okay, when everyone is deathly afraid of this thing, like it is the killer, and it's being purported as being the new Black Plague.
Essentially what coronavirus is right now,
Right.
topically.
One of my my bandmate at the time got it and was in her home afflicted. So I went and, like a fucking moron, I visited her to bring her, like, you know, movies that she hadn't seen and things. And I spent about an hour in her room, like a foot away from her bed, not taking any of this into account. And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm in my mid-20s, so I'm going to be fine. I'm just good. So I go home. My folks, by the way, were in Hawaii at the time. So I had no one in town who I really could have called on to kind of assist me other than, like, you know, one or two acquaintances and friends. And I was deathly ill. So the first day I went to Walgreens knowing that this was going to happen, and I bought like a case of Sprite and then a couple
24 cans.
Yes. I got like as much as I could carry, and then some allergy meds like NyQuil, DayQuil shit, and went home and just wrote it out. So I was crawling to the bathroom for like 2 days because I was so disoriented I couldn't stand up. So I would just army crawl out of my bed, down the hall, into the bathroom, crawl up onto the toilet, and then work my way back, and slept a lot. But I had no other treatment for swine flu than just me taking over-the-counter cold medicine and sweating it out.
What year is that?
I think it was probably 2008, maybe 2007, 2008.
That makes sense. It's so funny. There's that meme that made the rounds a few weeks ago. And it was essentially people celebrating being in the 20s now.
Okay.
Oh, the
And-
roaring 20s.
Yeah, but then they were like, oh, but then in the 1820s there was a plague, and in the 1920s there was another
the Spanish
Stock market
flu.
crash. And
Yeah, or yeah, but they're like drawing these correlations, and it just reminds me of the same thing. It's like this, it happens all the time, and in fact, there's articles that have been coming out for us in the U.S. where it's like, I wouldn't worry about that. You know, I would worry about these other things that are actually way more prevalent for us right now. And as someone who is really like health anxious, like I am, it was nice to see that.
Mhm.
But also, as someone who's recently read The Stand, I also kind of have like two different sides of that same coin where I'm like, well, this is probably how it all ends, right?
See, yours is pretty myopic, where you saw the negative. I finished that, and then I'm like, I'm Buster Casey. I'm Rant. I'm unkillable. You can't take me down. Bring it on. Spit in my mouth and tell me you hate me. I want to see it. Trust me. We'll get there. So
Nice.
But yeah, it's just, I find it funny. We don't trust people just because they're wearing a mask. I was like, they're not desperados waiting for a train. They are kids trying not to, get sick.
It's all these fucking fake woke people that say
I
it.
don't
Oh my
understand it because, like, literally, I go to campus any day. I see probably a couple dozen.
What about on a Monday?
A couple dozen.
Tuesday?
1 dozen.
No, hear me out here. Friday.
None. I don't go to campus on Friday.
Now, Wednesday,
Crazy.
there's 3 dozen because it's hump day.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, you
Hump
see
day?
dozens upon 3.
Yeah. Yeah, literally 3 people that just wear dozens of masks.
Stratford on Avon.
But, like, this was way before coronavirus. This will probably be way after coronavirus. You're right. It's a cultural thing that, like, they picked up on, which makes sense. Like, when you live very, very close, it's a courtesy. Like, I'm diseased, or there's probably going to be someone diseased. I don't need to spread that. So it makes a lot of sense that just, I'll wear a mask. And I think the funniest thing, which I haven't verified, but I had heard right after I saw the report that there was a case here that our college was selling themed masks. I hadn't seen it. Can you verify if that was a thing? Because that would be hilarious if it was.
What I can verify is they have now placed, like, bottles of Purell everywhere at student request.
Oh, okay.
Which is fun, because, like, every 12 paces you walk, there's just a bottle of Purell sitting there. And I'm like, well, if everyone's picking up this same bottle of Purell, I have a feeling this isn't going to help us much.
It's my favorite lube.
I mean, and really, we're not talking about the actual issue here, because, I mean, if we thought the coronavirus was bad, what about the Bud Light Lime virus that's going to be coming next month? Because that's going to kill everyone.
It's also known as the Ben Kissel Virus, for anybody that is privy to Ben Kissel.
I made the Kissel Run in under 12 parsecs.
Well, according to Mike, parsecs is not speed, right?
It's a unit of distance.
Yeah, you fucking nerd.
Actually, a parsecs is, where you get it into the hole on the first attempt.
Oh, I thought you meant like part sex, where
Well,
it's
that's
just
an
like
eagle.
just the tip
birdie.
for a
Eagle
second.
sex.
Just to see how it feels.
So I actually have an outline.
Okay.
I have plans.
Bullshit.
Give it.
One was just a little like not housekeeping, but it's a follow up from episode 2, way back.
We have follow-up?
I'm following up to let you guys know that I am officially a member of the Satanic Temple.
Get the fuck out.
Sorry. Yeah, it's easy. You just go on their website and put your name in and send them in semen.
Oh.
1 semen.
Which ship did you pull them off of? Was it the USS Eldridge?
His name was Clark Gable.
Ooh.
Yeah. Just decided it was time to,
Okay.
I'm not really, no, I was going to say I'm not really an atheist, but I was like, well, if I am Satanic Temple, that's basically, I just wanted to have my name on something. It was a really easy way.
You want to belong to something.
Yeah, it's really nice. I follow a bunch of the members on Twitter, and everything that they retweet and the things that they stand for are things that I really align with. So,
What do you stand for?
I wanted to give that to you this time.
Thank you.
So I guess I'm a closeted Satanist.
Well,
actually,
you're not,
you're a
and-
Satanist.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I guess not technically closeted because I just said it on the podcast.
Just outed to
At least 12
tens
people.
of people.
Literally tens of
Fives
people.
among
Actually, probably
tens
more
of
like
people.
half a dozen because multiple people listen to it multiple times. So
Yeah.
probably
I
all
mean,
of-
Shane's girlfriend admitted to me herself that she listened to the last episode 3 times,
Uh-huh.
and that was pre-airing.
Yes.
And then she'll listen to it again. So the pre-airing, that doesn't even count. And then she's still going to listen to it again just to bump the numbers up. What a gal.
It's also just a funny episode.
It is a funny
Continue
episode.
to congratulate ourselves for
That's circle
mediocrity.
jerk.
And then in case you're 20 minutes into this episode and you haven't realized this is our free-form episode.
What?
Kind of. I have a subplot to that.
Okay.
So
Gasp.
Well, so I have my main thing that I wanted to do in this episode, so
Do it.
I'll save that for last.
Oh, okay.
We'll get to you.
Okay.
But I had 2-3 other things that I wanted to talk about. They
Okay.
can be quick.
Hit 'em.
And then we can get to you. Well, one, this is exciting news for all three of us, but Shane told us earlier this week that Fan Fusion in Phoenix is happening. That's in May.
It is. It's May. I think it's 21st to 24th.
It's Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, well, good thing that we can't do that gig in Cottonwood.
Exactly.
I have a meme to show you about saying "oof," Michael.
And it's a killer.
Hold on. It's you know the meme format where it's one arm and it's one hand and the other hand. It's the meat in the middle.
It's a really artistic representation of a
Venn diagram,
predator, right?
It's called acoustic.
Brother. Or no, wait.
Well, one hand.
Hands, yes.
Yeah.
One hand is saying people that say bruh, and the other one says people that say oof, and them holding hands in the middle, the caption is contributing nothing to the conversation.
You know what I have to say to that?
Oof.
Bruh.
So what are we doing at Fan Fusion? What's the plan, Stan?
So we have, as of right now, there are 4 different panels that we will take part in. 2 of which involve Stephen King.
Cool.
One will be discussing It and its sort of filmic representations as well as the book itself.
Cool.
Reconciling those things, what we love about them, what we wish might have been a little better, but mostly what we love about it. The other will be talking, it's called the Shine On Daniel Torrance. So we'll be talking about the Shining filmic iterations, Dr. Sleep, and then the books. And then we have a Joe Hill, the King of the Hill. We'll be discussing all of his works and all the adaptations. And now that Lock and Key is going to be made into live action as well.
I have not done any Lock and Key at all.
Well, we'll get to be virgins together then.
Oh, for real?
I have it. I just have not read it yet.
Well,
so
maybe we should all 3 give each other like homework assignments, and we should dive in together. And maybe on these free-form things, we can give little updates on how we're feeling about it.
And
audience participation, tasty.
The most important is the Disinformed podcast. We will be doing an actual live podcast, and we will be discussing the comic books code. So that is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm excited about it.
I will go ahead and take the mantle here of the guy that's going to plug this on the episodes leading up to May. I will do my best to mention it whenever I feel that I can.
Yay!
Since I can't do research, I can try to remember things that are important.
You are now the Flava Flav of this podcast. You are in charge of just
going... I don't know who that is, and I won't accept it.
Yeah, boy! Yeah, boy! And wearing a giant clock.
So, moving on, and it's kind of related. Dr. Sleep is out on digital now. And I believe the physical copy comes out here this week or the following week.
Today, apparently.
Today? Oh, yes. Fuck. Well, then, you guys... Well, one, I bought the digital director's cut a couple weeks ago and finally got around to watching it. My wife and I watched it together, and she's never seen it, and she actually liked it. I don't remember if I mentioned that when we were doing our little review after seeing it, but I was really worried she wouldn't like it because of how diehard she is on adaptations actually representing the material well. So that was a big win in my head, but the director's cut flushes out a lot of things that I don't remember if it was critic or audience that were really like, oh, it's so fucking long and it's so melodramatic. Mainly because it's not horror focused, it's character focused.
Right.
So if you liked character focus, which I love, and I love slow burns to begin with, the director's cut's the only way to watch it for me. He splits it up into 6 chapters, so it feels Tarantino-esque.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Where some of those chapter titles are actually in the novel too, so you're there's even more for you to kind of pull on.
It also, that is, synonymous with The Shining as well, because they have day 1. Yeah. Day 5, those intercuts where you get that time passing. So that's fun. I
spoiled something for Shane. I'm not going to spoil it here, but obviously it's a director's cut, so there's extended and added scenes. There's an added scene that I really, really enjoyed, and it's near the end. So
a little hype for a discussion we will have at a later date.
Absolutely.
So make it to Fan Fusion 2020. It's going to be fun. Yeah. That's in Phoenix, by the way, for those that want to stalk us.
Yeah. And also, I don't, this is the editor's note, or a note to the editor, if you will.
Fuck that guy.
I tried.
We publicize this on multiple accounts. So if you're shy about your name, you're fine to do that. But I don't care.
I've been
people
editing
knowing.
it out ever since
I
Shane mentioned
don't care
to edit
about
it out. So.
That's the thing, though. You didn't, because
What?
at 2 points in previous episodes,
got
you
the
did
receipts.
slide in the Shane Hunt Award, and you didn't beep John when he said it. So you're like, I'm getting the
tricksy
Shane Hunt Award. So I'm like,
bastard.
all right then. What? You were the one who's supposed to catch it, Captain.
This
So-
isn't Shane and I trying to choose between which one gets to fuck your
I
mouth
don't-
and your butt. Like, we're just...
But no, I don't care.
I don't
Obviously,
either.
I live on an infamy, and if anybody, hears this, I already was outed by one of my colleagues to our student workers. They're like, oh, he's got a podcast. I'm like, oh, please don't tell them that. I was like, if you hear that, my opinions here are not like boss opinions. So, I'm a different person when I'm on the clock.
What?
But I know it's terrible, isn't it? I'm also a different person when I'm on the cock, as well you know.
Can you excuse me for just a second? I'm still getting over the coronavirus.
It's going to be a lot of that. So, we're going to have a quick installment of proper pronunciation with Michael real quick, because I actually have printed out words. So, I'm going to keep it short,
Okay.
but just so we can test the new format. Hey, Michael,
What?
pronounce this word.
Vexatious?
Well done.
Ooh.
Your
And also,
your batting average is going up.
I'm going to go ahead and describe what's happening here. So Shane sits opposite Michael, and he has like
Slips of
slivers.
paper.
Yeah, slips of paper, but they're actually printed. Like he instead of handwriting this time, he typed them out. He printed and cut so that Michael can't use handwriting as an excuse.
And how about this one?
Oh, please.
Implement?
Well done.
I
All
thought
right.
you were going to say inclement.
So that's
Inclement. What
two
is it?
marvelous installations there. Michael is
Inclement
still
weather.
batting well on proper pronunciation. So
He is.
I mean, we'll take it. Yeah, he only
That's
got one last. Yeah, I'm slow burning. I got a
Did you-
lot of these
as you
printed,
got
but
them?
I mean,
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
it's just I want to bleed a couple of these in so we don't get people sick of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Or you can, and people can get sick of it. and
So
won't
I have a
to-
question for you. If that's your quick of your quick blasts, do you have one more?
I had one more,
Do
but
it.
it doesn't matter.
Go for it.
It's kind of just like, personality things or like
Ooh.
personal things. How big is your penis? No,
That's
we
gonna
are
be a
all,
short conversation.
admitted nerds. What games are we playing right now? Video games.
Oh, now you're just gonna Cosby everybody.
Excuse me.
Huh? I don't think we can say that.
Turn my gas off, John. As of right now, I started going back into Dark Souls 3 because I still have not managed to defeat the Lord of Cinder.
Because you're a sadist.
And I also have not... I'm so sad right now. I have not beaten the woman in the painting either.
Oh,
I have gotten midway through the third level with her, like the third phase, and
are you talking about the
that's
Dancer of the
DLC.
Boreal Valley?
no.
Oh.
The
No, DLC.
the painting of Andorellus or whatever the heck.
Yeah.
You got some
That's
fuckery
the
ahead of you,
force.
my
Oh,
friend.
trust me, I've fought her at least 60 times, and I've gotten through the first two phases, but that third phase is just a pain in the ass, and I normally don't have as much
Right on.
estrus to get through. And then I started Bloodborne again, because
Nice.
I
'Cause you
needed to do something I can excel at.
So I heard you're angry, bruh.
Yeah. But I finished
I thought you were gonna
my
say I
first...
fell asleep.
I
And
fell
was
asleep playing Bloodborne. I had the greatest nightmares. I finished Grand Theft Auto 5 for the first
Nice.
playthrough because I am a cheap bastard and I will
Wait.
not buy a game until it's like so
$3.
far beyond, yeah, it's got to be like the $20 greatest hits edition before I'll do anything.
Well,
Nice.
I actually have something to say about that as well, but the joke I was going to have before I segue into that is, wait, there's a story mode for Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah, right.
How many hookers have you killed, Michael?
Sex.
Oh, is that what you
workers.
call story? But talking about playing games only when they're on the dollar menu or whatever.
This is not McDonald's.
I don't know where I was going with that. Ignore me. Anyway,
Here's
Don't
the jokes
ignore me.
again.
um,
Michael is the god and master of telling half of a joke and stopping himself like Woody Allen. Like, he was doing this earlier at the bar. He was sitting in the other like, oh, it's so funny because, it's like, like when you get your finger into a girl's asshole and you're like, just forget it. I'm sorry. I was like, it would be a genius stand-up bit for Michael to just go on stage and tell half a joke and stop. where he he never finishes. He gets a 15-minute set. He does 7 minutes
case,
and leaves. So
it has a parallel to your relationship.
Ouch. That, bruh. Now I have to catch myself every time I'm going to say oof. I need to say bruh just to switch it up today.
Chickadee, check yourself before you ejaculate.
So I guess the
prematurely.
episode title is "We Break Michael." Finally,
So the game I'm actually playing is Horizon Zero Dawn.
Nice.
That was
God.
the joke I was making. That like I bought it literally last month for $10.
You have not played that yet.
I'm
Okay.
almost done with it.
It is my favorite
But
game all time.
It is beautiful.
I
No
didn't
question.
know that.
Yeah, I love that game. It's Bloodborne's getting close there because I really like the story of Bloodborne, but
The
it,
deep
like
Lovecraftian lore.
I'm telling you, Horizon Zero Dawn is like the game for me, just because the plot is so beautifully intricate and the way that they meld the world visually, it's so great. The controls are fun. Like, yeah, I
I'm
love
really
it.
glad to hear that, even after a Thunderjaw or two.
Those are.
That's my favorite activity now, is just running out and like tracking down the Thunderjaws.
I am still waiting to get Becky into Horizon Zero Dawn, and I think we're getting closer because my brother-in-law and his fiance were playing it and like giving us, because we have a group chat as well,
Okay.
and kind of being like, "Oh, we're hitting this," and it gets my nostalgic kind of like thing flowing where I'm just like, "Fuck!" Like, she's finally good at video games. Like when I first met her, she didn't really play anything past like classic Nintendo-esque kind of games, but now she's cut her teeth on like difficult games and difficult settings. I don't know.
Hey, she's married to you. That's the most difficult game I have
really
ever
is.
seen played.
I guess for the woman who's never going to listen to this, I'm proud of you, and I hope that you continue your gaming career.
Well, Melissa is admittedly like, she is so timid playing that because she will hide and like snipe everything. She never gets into
It's a
active
strat.
combat if
It's
she
a
can help it.
strat.
So
I like
yeah, you can
doing
play it
that.
anyway.
In my
I
opinion,
used
it's not
to-
cheesing the game, because if it wasn't
It's
an
a skill,
acceptable
yeah.
strategy, then it wouldn't be in the game.
Right.
Yeah,
Not
you're
all
not,
of us are
glitching
button
through
mashers.
it or anything like that. You know, you're not trying to break the actual world you're utilizing. Like, especially like in Horizon Zero Dawn, you can't really snipe for long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be. You could use a lot
You can
of material
farm.
to do it.
You can
But-
farm so that you can have better combat abilities, where
Mm-hmm.
your slowdowns and cooldowns are better.
Yeah.
But speaking of cheesing, by the way, that was a way to segue.
Segway?
Eat fresh.
Bro.
I've been playing Hollow Knight on PlayStation. They have a complete edition called the Void Heart, so it's like the game of the year, if you will. But Hollow Knight was, I guess, a kick-started platformer, and everything is hand-drawn, and it's a Metroidvania, so it's very similar as far as exploration to like a Dark Souls or a Bloodborne game.
Nice.
Except it is a 2D platformer, and you're this adorable little bug with a nail that's a sword, and you just fuck shit up. And I was sick last week, and my schedule is kind of fucked, and it's one of the games like Dark Souls or Bloodborne where it'll show you how much time you've played, which is awesome and terrible depending on how much of a life you have or don't. So I checked on it last night before I went to bed, and in a Monday to a Monday, I gave it 24 hours of gameplay, and I hate myself.
Impressive.
Well
Impressive.
done.
Well, it's mainly because Shane and we canceled practice on Sunday. So on Sunday, I think I had 3 days off last week after getting back from a trip. Like, my schedule legitimately was fucked. But all I did on those days, I didn't go to the gym. I didn't really clean. Like, we didn't have much to do. So I just was on the couch drinking tea and LaCroix like a fucking hipster. And just bashing shit with my nail.
There's a hip hop song in there somewhere.
Somewhere.
Drinking
Just
some of that
banging
there
out tea and LaCroix.
You can call me Post Malone.
How about Post Office Malone?
Post-op Malone?
Even better. That's Billie Eilish, I think.
Oh, Jesus.
I can't unsee
Hold
that
on,
now.
though. Go Billie Eilish. I hope she stays weird fucking forever.
You know what? Here's the thing. She is a brilliant songwriter. I will give her all the credit in the world.
Her and her brother.
But?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
I was expecting a but.
There's a butt there somewhere.
Yeah, I feel it.
No, the bad guy drives me insane. And I think it's because of the affectation of the vocal. Like, the song is still really catchy, but it's that overly breathy, like...
Oh.
I get it.
Yeah.
I'm like, it makes me want to erupt. And not in, like,
I was gonna say, the
80s
good,
hair
good,
metal
right?
erupt
Oh.
kind of.
Becky found Billie Eilish, like, on a Discover Weekly when she was still putting out songs, what would become her first EP.
Still putting out.
And
That's
those
a
songs are
record.
drastically different than the debut that she put out this past year. That being said, she was a fan going into this release cycle, so she pre-ordered the vinyl. So we have a copy of the vinyl, and I remember the first time listening to what now is a Grammy Award-winning record, and hating the mix. Because there's a lot of... or I thought there was something wrong with my speakers. Because on certain songs, like Bad Guy or The Following, which is Zanny, there's a lot of forced, intentional overcompression and distortion on vocals and on bass drums. That whole album didn't click for me literally until last week when I listened to it again after it won the awards. Because I listened to it on headphones on the plane home. And I was like, that's fucking brilliant. I agree with you, Shane, that like the breathiness, like it's not my preferred style. But, like, I get it. Oh, I'm wearing my Fitbit, and all of a sudden, like, my wrist starts vibrating a lot, and I was like, who the
Time to
fuck is
jerk
calling
off.
me? I was like, you hit your 10,000 steps today.
Just from you moving your hands around.
Yeah. That's why I put it on my left so I don't really
Get
rig
extra.
it with my, masturbating habits, yeah.
You ran 32 miles today.
Those are rookie numbers.
Well, sorry for the accidental
No,
Eilish,
no, that's what we
spiel.
like. This,
I love Billie Eilish.
well done.
That was the Ryan Wilson?
Ryan, yeah.
Ryan, whatever. Have you seen that?
I'm
Where
just
he's
smiling. at you.
he's interviewing Billie Eilish, and he calls her William Eyelash.
And we called her Billie Irish. And
Yeah. Well, that's the end of the
John's foreplay.
yeah. So if you have something, I don't even care.
So, John,
Oh fuck!
have you ever wondered what your own shit tastes like?
Every day of my life.
You may have a psychological disorder characterized by an appetite for consumption of substances with no significant nutritional value,
That makes sense.
such as ice,
Yep.
hair,
Kinda.
paper,
Always.
drywall or paint,
Once.
sharp objects,
Inside
metal,
of me currently.
stones, soil, glass, feces, which is called coprophagia, Billie Irish, and chalk. You may have pica.
I don't think you're supposed to say that.
I just did. So, they have a long
pica?
listing here of all the things. So that is what pica is. It is a psychological disorder.
Do you know where
listed
I
in the
get-
DSM-5.
Do you know where I get the pica thing? And this is another reason why I really enjoy the fact that we have a podcast, or that I have been allowed to be in a room and we're doing things on a weekly
That's the way to say it.
to
Thank
monthly basis. is
You're
that-
Detective Pikachu over here.
It's that
Damn it.
there's a timestamp now.
Yes.
So you can go and you can listen back and kind of feel out where you were. So the reason the shit thing got brought up for me, and I think it's still going to become, or still remain a thing, is that I started, we got a new hire at the bar, and his name's Wayne, and he's in another really awesome local band. And the first shift that I worked with him after he was comfortable,
Shift.
I'm working behind, so essentially I work behind the beer bar. He's for the wine side of our store. We share the same dishwashing, like the same dishwashing area. So he's walking back with a ton of dishes, and he sets them down and he looks over at me and he's like, "Hey, John." I was like, "Yeah, what's up, man? Did you ever wonder what your shit tastes like?" And I just laughed, and he just looked at me, just cold and dead in the face, and then just walked away. And I worked back-to-back shifts, or back-to-back evenings with him. So the following day, and he made me feel really gratified. Or it was very gratifying what happened. It's a busy night. It's Friday night, peak night. we get through the shit of it all. No pun intended. And I see him standing near...
Pika!
I see him standing at the front register, and I have this idea, and he's eating, because we had a food truck, so I walk up to him and I go, hey man, and he's eating his food, and he just kind of gives you the looks up, and he kind of acknowledges that you're there and you're talking to him. And I was like, I just really want to make sure that we're good. And he's like, yeah. I was like, well, because I feel really rude. Because yesterday you were very considerate, and you asked me how I felt about how my shit tasted, but I never asked you, what do you feel like your shit tastes like? And it was like perfect mid-bite, and he spit out like a bite's worth of food. Because you just catch someone perfectly off guard. But anyway, so that's the long story on why I think about he brought like legit toilet humor back into my life, and also the term poop sick.
And now you want to potty all the time.
And part of every day.
Okay, I went Eddie Murphy, you went Kiss, which is scary.
Okay, well, we still got...
listen, we have plenty of pica to get into here.
I know.
Pika.
I want to go ahead and throw this out here real quick, that up until this episode, we did batch recording.
Mm-hmm.
And as of this episode, we are
this
recording...
one right here. Episode 26.
This very one.
This one.
We are going to be recording every week as to remain topical, and so that everyone gets the same level of attentiveness and energy, because by the third episode of every run, we are fucking dead.
Or we're, like cry laughing at everything, which was last episode that aired. So
yeah, but sometimes it's a gamble. You roll the die, and sometimes it works really well.
Sometimes it's the Stanford prison experiment.
What do you stand for?
Thank you.
But anyway, so I don't care if these episodes go a little over, because there's not two more that we need to do after it.
Yes.
Because that being said, I see that we're hitting like the 42 mark here.
The 42-minute mark?
Yeah. If you stick with it, Satan bless you. As one Satanist to no one else.
Well, as of right now, we're going to be like a 3-hour podcast every week. We're going like super deep dive.
Wouldn't that be fucking hilarious if, like, in the effort to save ourselves from exhaustion, that
we still record 4
one
hours?
episode the length of 3? Wouldn't that be crazy?
I should delete my script for next week.
Yeah, we can do it. So, this pattern of eating should last at least 1 month to meet the diagnostic criteria of pica. So you need to eat your shit for a month. That's called marriage. Can confirm. This is also fun. The clarification on this is as fun as any of the information they impart. It's like, so according to the DSM-5, which for those of you playing the psychological assessment home game, that's the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders.
Wait,
5th
Michael,
edition.
fuck off. You can't just repeat things milliseconds after he says it and pretend like you knew what he was fucking about to say.
Yeah.
So their criteria, for it to be considered pica, they must persist for more than a month at an age where eating such objects is considered developmentally inappropriate, not part of culturally sanctioned practice, and sufficiently severe to warrant clinical attention.
Okay, so what you're saying is that it's okay if I make brown, and then I fish it out, and then I put it in between 2 pieces of bread, and I eat it that way.
Well,
that's fine. But what's not okay is if I make brown, and then I fish it out with my hands, and I smear it over my face, and get some into my mouth.
Well, it's
is
part
one
of your
a ritual.
That's
If
not
the second's part of a ritual, then it's okay.
I was going to say, this is part of your governmentally protected religious practices, John.
So
to eat brown.
As a satanic shit eater.
Yes. You are allowed to do this, as long as, it doesn't lead to intoxication on your part.
What if my poop is sick?
I mean, your poop is sick, yo.
Dog.
I smelt that.
For real.
Spat it out. So it has actually been linked to mental and emotional disorders, stressors such as emotional trauma, impotency, maternal deprivation, family issues, parental neglect, pregnancy, animal attack, and a disorganized family structure are strongly linked to pica as a form of comfort.
Okay.
It is most commonly seen in pregnant women, small children, and persons with developmental disabilities, such as acousticism.
Well, I guess we have a lie in the episode.
It's a disability such as autism. Children eating painted plaster containing lead may suffer brain damage from lead poisoning. There is a similar risk from eating soil near roads that existed before the phase out of tetrathiolide that were sprayed with oil to settle dusts or contaminants by toxic PCBs or dioxins. So, I also love that you run the risk of gastrointestinal obstruction or tearing in the stomach. Well, yes, I ate glass and sand. I may have some problems in my digestive tract.
Well, I bleed every time I shit, but it's only because shards of glass are coming out of my asshole.
So do you want to get into some of these listed things before we get too far afield, and then we'll stop this? There are lies. I have thrown lies in here, so you can have fun.
Dear God. So there is a mini-sode inside
This is like
of this
yes, I
freeform.
did this as like a crash course here, just so we could laugh for a minute and get through.
All right. Go for it.
Acuphasia. You want to take a guess?
I'm going to guess it's
Acne.
bullshit.
No. All of these are true. I'm not lying about any of these. Sharp objects.
Oh.
Aphasia, okay.
So, somewhere Asher is laughing because there's a box of sharp objects. What a beautiful day.
This is lucky day.
Ameliophagia, which is starch.
Oh, I was going to say Emilio Estevez.
I was thinking the same thing.
This is also my punishment for making you have to pronounce words. I now get to run through this. So, acatopyriophagia,
Fire?
burnt matches.
Wait, these are all things that people eat?
Yes, these are all things that people eat that are considered pica. These are
Okay.
diagnosed mental illnesses here.
Cool.
Coniophagia,
Coney Island.
dust.
Close. You were very close.
John's favorite, coprophagia,
Semen?
feces.
Damn.
Why not both?
Emetiophagia, vomit. Geomeliophagia, which is
Tonsils?
Stone.
raw potatoes.
What?
Why is there
Well, I'm
even raw
Irish, so why
potatoes?
don't you just fucking at me next time?
Right, exactly. Geophagia,
That's rocks.
that is dirt, soil, and clay.
Yeah, you fucking idiot.
Earth. Oh, Earth. Okay, whatever.
Hyalophagia, glass. Lithophagia, stones.
Oh.
Mucophagia,
Mucus.
well done. Pagophagia,
The paleo diet?
ice.
Oh.
Plumbophagia,
Plumbers.
plumbobs.
I feel like you're just
No,
fucking with us. at
it's
this
lead.
point.
No, all of these are true.
Oh, because lead in, like, what Latin is, like,
Lido.
something like that.
El Ledo.
Oh,
It's, insert thing
Jared
here,
Leto.
future me.
Angel face. Trichophagia, which is hair, wool, and other fibers. Europhagia,
urine.
European people.
Oh,
Oh.
It is urine. And then hematophagia,
blood.
or hematophagia.
Blood.
Blood.
Vampire.
He did the thing where he mispronounced it, but that's Michael's thing.
Uh-huh.
Oh, shoot. And I was so excited over my answer that I just...
Even better, xylophagia.
Zeus.
Xylophones.
Wood. Or derivatives of wood, such as cock.
I was gonna say, I have some ex-girlfriends that definitely.
All right. Well, I won't get any further into this because it's I have just random shit. But anyone want to take a stab at a lie there?
Oh, through your whole shitscapade?
The last
Yes.
one. No, you said all
No,
those
all the
were-
listings
All
were-
the
were
listings
fair.
were true.
I didn't know that there was lies in that, so I wasn't trying to scope it out.
You're
I think
dumb.
it's pronounced Pika.
Pika
I've said
pika
it 3
choo choo.
times.
So, of the things that cause it, impotency and animal attack are neither
I
causes.
don't know why.
So,
I just...
I just enjoyed
rolled with
animal attack would make you go eat dirt. That dog bit me on the balls, now I got to eat ice.
I was all normal to the day that dog bit me square on the pecker.
Square on the nuts.
Do we have a sponsor today, Shane?
I've decided no sponsor for right now.
Wow.
Okay.
I
like it.
feel
What
like
about my
I
intro?
actually started listening to Night Vale again. So I got about 20 episodes further into Night Vale in the course of like a 2-day period. And I'm like, it's really a major derivative thing for them, and I feel like I just stole their idea and co-opted it and flew it over. Good. So, I mean, I could say that we are brought to you by, deep ends of depends with a special pocket to get more shit in them than casual depends.
You could also instead, just like do a Chuck Palahniuk nod and then just do the weather today is, but not say the weather because of Night Vale, but today's brought to you by crippling depression, and then we move on.
Today's episode is brought to you by
Picaphasia.
Pikachu. Well, it is brought to you by the fear of your own penis.
What about the fear of missing out?
Ooh, FOMO.
You can officially
fuck myself.
Put your tongue into your own asshole and try to work its way back up into your brain.
Wait a second.
That's what dating that person felt like.
Why are you...
That's what made me cry laugh, because when I have the headphones on and I put something up to the mic, I don't know how it's going to come across. So hearing the pug snort, and then also hearing the 5 seconds, then now I will tell you from Evanescence was so good.
Here's the thing. I don't need to know what my own shit tastes like because I've...
Oh my god. To quote the great conversationalist, Michael.
Uncle Touchy.
Oof.
Bruh, are you co-opting my stuff?
Alright, so let's end this episode.
Do it.
With a segment that I didn't realize until I was halfway through it that your Mom's House podcast did 300 episodes ago for a long time. I had this episode. I had this idea this morning when I woke up, and I was like, that would be so much fun to do with these guys. Anal sex.
I'm gonna need a lot of lube.
Or not enough.
Not with Uncle Touchy watching.
It's Would You Rathers.
Okay.
Because I've read some before that just are terrible, and then you have some that are... I forgot when I was when I went to Google Would You Rathers, I was expecting only disturbing ones, but then I realized that they are not supposed to be disturbing. So we're gonna start with some not innocent ones. We're gonna stay weird the entire time.
Okay.
But we're gonna get a little more disturbing as we go, and then I think we end on a good one. No, we end on the worst one.
Well, trick question. I set myself on fire.
That is not an acceptable answer. So would you guys rather eat a ketchup sandwich or a sriracha sandwich?
Yes.
Here's the thing. I can, dip my finger in ketchup and just slam that. So, I mean, if I got enough ketchup to make the bread palette, yeah, I could do that. Sriracha, I don't think I could handle.
Michael?
Give me ketchup.
I just have horrible memories of an ex-roommate just covering everything in ketchup. Literally,
your penis?
Had a burger. He had a burger to go with his ketchup. You know that picture
did he
that
dip it into the ketchup?
Yes.
Okay.
You know that picture that you've probably seen on the internet where someone took the fries out of the McDonald's, the large McDonald's fry thing, filled that full of ketchup, and then put a couple of fries in a ketchup thing. Yeah, that's only a little bit of an understatement.
So you're a sriracha then?
No, I'll choose ketchup. I don't like the taste of sriracha.
I am also ketchup, but the reason that I am so team ketchup over sriracha on this is because I remember vividly my sister and I when we were growing up, because we're 2 years apart.
You put ketchup on your penis?
Yeah, that. We started a new genre of porn.
Two girls, one ketchup.
She's not a stepsister, though.
Not yet. No, so to start, we weren't poor. And I don't know if I'm trying to assume, that poor people would be the only ones that did this.
All the best stories start with that. First off, we weren't poor. We decided to do this.
We had no reason to decide this, but we would eat ketchup sandwiches when we were growing up as kids. We would get 2 pieces of fucking bread and just spread ketchup on it and eat it, and we loved that shit.
That's just the mental acuity you had in order to construct food. You could only manage a condiment.
And
eventually I ended up putting ketchup in shit. But
that's how it started.
That's just how the Satanists do it.
Well, that's to say, Kristen, even if you don't remember it, I remember it. And I've seen you eat a ketchup sandwich and love it.
And Pepperidge Farm remembers.
And the water remembers.
The water did, yes. There's water in ketchup.
There is.
Yeah.
Water for ketchup.
All right, guys. Next one. And I have a bunch, so if I need to
Do it.
scroll across. Oh, we're doing great.
We're going to make this the new longest episode. Every week
Okay.
we're going to bump it by like another couple minutes.
I don't want to.
So Michael's life will be lost.
Would you rather always feel like someone is following you, but no one is, or always feel like someone is watching you, even though no one is?
That's
so
my music
following
career.
by watching, or following or watching.
That's my music career. Is I always feel like someone's watching me,
And
but no one is.
Ouch.
Girl, same.
Bruh.
Yeah. Oof.
I'm gonna choose the following.
So that you always feel like someone's following you? But
Yeah,
they're
because by the
not.
nature of that question, even if they're following, they're not necessarily watching, because then that would fall under the second category.
Got
so
it.
then I can do all the naughty things that I want. Just know that somebody's nearby.
Fair.
Well, see, from the, watching versus following, that's our Instagram account.
Woo.
Expecting people are
I added
following
a
us.
new one into there.
And no one is. Ooh, lordy.
Shane?
I prefer the calling. So lately, been
Been
balls deep in your mom all over the place.
Her name is
Linda.
Linda.
I put my balls upon her face.
But anyway,
I think I could deal with feeling like people were watching me, because that's a fun Michael Jackson song.
okay. I would also do following instead. I mean, I feel like maybe you could cure that with some anti-anxiety medication.
Or just turning around every couple seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. So we ready to amp it up a little bit?
Sure.
Amp it?
I
Ramp it?
turn it to 11.
Hug it, chug a football?
Stop it.
Ben
Would you
Roethlisberger.
rather have no penis or 5 penises?
I only do.
Where are they placed?
It's not specified.
Can I also? Do I have more than 2 hands?
No, you only have 2 hands. See,
Okay.
when I saw that, the only reason I threw this one in there is because I knew the numbers that Shane cranks out. So I feel like with 5, you could be more efficient with this day. Because what if you did like 1 stroke on each, and then you just kind of like kept doing the rotation?
No, because I feel like
Like
on
a
the
xylophone.
cow, I'd have to relieve the pressure on everyone. It's like you'd have to milk me with multiple people.
My question is, do you get to have 5 partners?
I mean, I'd hope.
1 for each dick?
Unless they have a hole for each of the dicks.
Well,
In which
then-
case,
then
that is
you
a
have
very
to-
nice sideshow attraction.
So you have to
think
get one
about-
between each of her thighs, push those up, get one in the butt, get one in the vagina, or in his rectum. As many
Oh, you know what? I didn't include this one, but there was another phallic leaning one where it was something or having penises that line your spine, like you're kind of like a stegosaurus,
like a porcupine.
but just with
But
dicks
with
on your
jizz.
back.
Okay,
In which case, I would choose that because,
you want back dicks.
well, if it comes with the
You could
same
strap 'em
sensation
down.
of coming with each single one,
Oh,
then if you get someone sitting on each one, you just develop good back muscles, and you can.
you just doing
Carry
push-ups
the
with
world
5
on your
girls
back.
on you. Here's the
yeah,
thing.
sure.
You can also like James Bond yourself. So if you ever get in trouble, just jizz behind you and let everybody slip on it as you're running away.
That's also like an octopus maneuver.
Gotta go
You know?
fast.
Like,
Just
ink.
pee at everybody
Yeah,
as
use
they're
ink.
running. Ooh, you'd be a great marathon runner. Just pee at everybody behind you. Now here's the question: do I still have sexual urges with no penis? Because I
You
feel
know,
like
you
if I
still
had
use the
no
restroom.
penis,
I feel like your personality and your urges. I feel like your chemical makeup wouldn't change.
my chemical
He
romance.
didn't say anything about, like, he just said penis. He didn't
Yeah.
say the full
See,
set.
if I have sexual urges and no penis, I would lose my fucking mind. But if I have, no sexual urges and a penis, I would have rational thought for the first time in 38 years on this planet. So I think I would be fine with that, but just
All right.
depending. But if I still have urges and things that prompt it, give me the 5 dicks.
I like his answer. I'm going to co-op that.
I would be like working for a fire department. I could just
I
be
would-
spraying everybody.
I would also choose 5 dicks.
Or-
I would assume that I would hope that you can assign each one a job.
A literal 5-headed penis.
Like what if you got into the porn industry? You could make so much money if you're the only fellow with 5 dicks.
And, the purple-headed one could be very meek and out me for having killed, the mayor.
Yeah, let's do that.
The purple-headed penis said, Why did you touch that?
Guys, would you rather live forever or die in the next 5 minutes?
I could live forever.
Yeah.
I could
Because
live.
I would be past the point of fuck it at that point. I just do whatever
Yeah.
I want.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Exactly.
Would you rather have sex with Megan Fox with a penis or Tom Hiddleston with a vagina?
Who's Megan Fox?
Fuck off.
Who's Tom Hiddleston?
Yeah, well,
I'm not
I
kidding.
know,
I literally
Loki.
cannot think of who Megan
he
Fox
plays
is.
Are you
Loki,
serious?
right?
Okay, well, I'm gonna Google Tom Hiddleston.
Well,
he-
we
so I
know
can
who
show that.
Tom Hiddleston
He
is.
plays Loki,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Uh-huh.
You can't think of Megan Fox?
Is
Did you
that
ever watch Transformers?
okay? It's the Transformers. All right.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Why is there a choice here? I would
Why
like
not
both of
both?
them at the
Yeah.
same time.
You can put it inside a Tom and suck off Megan
Exactly.
They can fuck each other, and I'll watch from the closet.
and cry and laugh at the same time.
That's how do you know that's how I get off?
All right, we have 4 more.
You're
Okay.
being watched all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Uncle Touchy.
Would you rather like to be in a real version of The Walking Dead or Jurassic Park?
Well, considering that I don't have to be on the island to be part of this Jurassic Park world, I'll take that one. Because then I could just not go.
Kinda like The Walking Dead myself.
I'm going to say, give me The Walking Dead, because, I mean, if we've exponentially eliminated the number of people who I have to hear talk shit on a daily basis, I want to live in that world.
Yeah, like severely limited.
Yes, I'm all about that.
But that's no internet. That's no porn.
I don't have the internet now.
I would just carve sexy curves into a tree and come on it.
I would just
With your
find
5
the
dicks.
torsos of
With my
things that
5
can't
dicks.
get me and come on those.
You can't get me now.
So you remember the desiccated, like, half-human that was in the first season of The Walking
Or
Dead
you
on the
just
lawn?
be Michonne.
Like,
yeah.
I would just right in that one's face the
No,
whole time. Just, oh, you want it? Eat them babies. I'll give her some brains.
Speaking of brains.
It's the worst Plants vs. Zombies game ever. It's just me walking around.
Would you rather
That's
fuck
It's a pea shooter.
1,000 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck?
So fuck them? You
Yeah.
said fuck?
Would you?
Okay.
Yeah. So it means passionately make love
Oh,
to
they-
Listen.
1,000 duck-sized horses.
That hypothetical's not all it's quacked up to be. I'm just gonna. Oh, give me the bill.
Wow.
Give me a big duck. I'll
Yeah.
fuck a duck. I'm
I don't
prepared
think
for
I got-
duck
What if I
fuckery.
can't last through the 1,000? Does that mean I'm out?
I was
or
gonna
do
say
have to
I don't think I got
snooze
enough
until I'm
jam for
dead?
1,000. So
I
I
don't
think
have enough jam for 1.
Why would a horse be any more alluring than a duck?
I have no idea.
Here's the thing: if you come on a duck, it's not going to stick to it. It's just going to run right off of it. You got no evidence. Cleanup's
love it.
instant.
Done.
I'm so there.
All right.
Like
For that,
semen off a duck's back.
I'm gonna
Our-
co-op that again.
Cool. Our penultimate question:
Ooh,
would you rather
Michael,
sweat-
penultimate means second to the last.
I
Just
can't
in
remember
case.
where I made that mistake, and apparently it's just everywhere I hear that word, it just reminds me that I said. The
Oh,
wrong
didn't he say
thing.
penulment? No.
Impenalment, yes.
Penn Island?
Ready?
Panopticon.
Would you rather sweat milk or grow blue cheese on your teeth as plaque?
I'm such an alien fiend that I do not mind being mistaken for an android. So I will sweat milk.
You go the bishop route?
I'll go the total, like, give me the ash route.
I would go the
prefer.
sweat milk as well because I feel like you could like pat that away quickly, but I
could
feel,
also lick it
I
off.
feel still like even though I'm officially like a year back at the dentist, that
I
still
was
like
like, why
no
is
matter
my back
what,
involved here?
no matter what, every time I go there, it's like you could be flossing better, and that means like stereotypical, right? But you're not aware of that in your own mouth. But if it was blue cheese, right?
That was just
blue cheese
tasting
as
at
plaque,
all
yeah, and
time? Like,
plaque, and you were
no.
tasting that, I would
No.
lose my fucking mind. I
Yeah.
hate blue cheese.
I like blue cheese.
I like blue cheese, but even then, I don't want to taste that all the time. Like,
Well,
I'd
here's
rather
the
just
thing.
sweat milk. And
You know,
I have a
sweating
constant
milk-
supply of it.
I mean, who of us has not dated, a young mother having just sired a whelp and gotten a couple shots of the breast milk
I
right in the
have
face?
Never tasted breast milk.
And
Yes,
neither
you have. Linda didn't wean you that fast. I know I was there.
I was cast out with the wolves when I was young.
Sorry. Let me restate
I've only
that.
tasted one brand of breast milk.
In my adult life, I have not tasted breast milk.
Well, technically, yeah.
Straight from the teat.
Michael, have you?
So here's a vision for you, Michael, just in case you didn't escape clean. While John was still a baby, I was on the other tit. We were having a race to see who could drain her faster.
We are 10 years apart.
I just couldn't get enough. I was like, hit me. Linda's on tap.
This is why
He's
I need
like-
someone to write fanfiction.
He's like, Shane with my mom's breast milk is like me with half-acre beer. If I see that it is available, I'm there.
Here's the thing. I don't actually have a mustache. This is just an accumulation of years of Linda. Just all on my top lip. It's crustily, permanently just stuck to my lips.
Absolutely.
All right, let's quit fucking this pig. Or duck.
Well, I'm glad that you brought parents into this.
Oh, good.
We are going to end on the darkest timeline. And this is a question I feel like every group of friends has probably asked each other at one point or another. Would you rather give your dad a blowjob or have your dad give you a blowjob?
I can close my eyes.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is a dick is a dick?
No, I'm saying your tongue feels like sandpaper. Well done.
Yeah, I'd rather receive because I can close my eyes and just be very drunk.
No, what I'm saying is I don't want to have to waste the 45 minutes of trying to explain to my dad why he can't find it. I'm sorry. It's just not there.
Capital.
Yeah. So, Shane, your
Bruh.
official answer is...
I would much rather shoot myself in the fucking head
That's not
than
an option.
entertain that notion at all, ever.
Funny that you answer that way. My coworker and I like to play fuck, marry, kill with our customers a lot, like especially on busy nights. It's
no.
kind of like a way to keep our morale high
All right.
with each other. And one night I came to her with a fuck, marry, kill, and I gave her 3 of our least favorite customers.
Okay.
And she goes, trick question. Or no. Sorry. I just did a Michael.
I don't even remember.
Don't listen to me. Forget
I give
me,
her
I'm
a fuck,
sorry.
marry, kill of 3 of our least favorite customers. And she goes, I fuck them all and I kill myself.
That's much better than mine.
But you have to answer the
Okay,
question.
I would prefer to 69, so at least we can both get a little pleasure.
I mean,
If I'm going to do it, I want at least
inclusive
both of us.
or-
Yes.
and if the dick don't fit, you must acquit.
Listen, if I'm going to Back to Future myself here, speaking of which, that Emma Thompson. Not Emma Thompson, Leah Thompson.
The goddamn is going on here?
Back to the Future, Leah Thompson. The original Back to the Future, who played Marty's mother.
Oh.
Young Leah Thompson.
Right. I know that I brought dicks in coming into this, so I've asked for this kind of behavior.
When do we not?
I'm watching The Stand's made-for-TV adaptation, and Molly Ringwald in there actually does it for me, but Molly Ringwald and everything else, I don't find her attractive.
There's a film she did mid-90s called Malicious, and it has a dirty scene or 2.
Or 10.
Okay.
It's worth
Well,
investigating.
we're about to turn into
Go
a
for
different
it.
podcast here.
Yeah.
Michael,
I thought I
are
already
you
said
blowing
that.
your dad or getting blown by your dad?
Whose
said
dick's
I would-
getting touched?
I said he can go for it. I'll close my eyes.
Hey,
So you want him
Sure, why
to fillet
not?
I
you?
was going to say,
Yeah, I'll get drunk enough.
do we have to know who the father is in order to do this?
Yeah, can it be through like?
What
a
is, are
glory
you talking
hole
about like
and
a
it's
Jerry
Russian roulette?
Springer situation?
No, it's Mari.
Mr.
It was,
Povich.
it was Springer first, wasn't it?
No,
It was always
Povich.
Povich?
Well, Povich before Springer.
Was the
Yeah.
paternity test guy.
God, these fucks are old.
Wait, what? He was not before Springer, was he?
Maury was on for quite some time, my friend. It's a sad state of affairs, but
Future me will fact check it, put it in
do
corrections
it.
if it's
You can
wrong.
correct me whenever you want
Yeah.
to. John?
I have never sucked a dick, and I don't think the place to start would be my... Actually, you know what? The place to be...
We're calling bullshit, right?
You know what? I've disappointed my father enough I don't think he would mind.
He'd just tell you weren't doing it right like everything else in your life.
Yeah. But that being said, I feel like there'd be like a nice like closure to our relationship if he just sucked my dick.
I was going to say,
right.
technically, if he ejaculates in you, it's basically you're just meeting yourself all over
feedback
again.
loop.
Yes. Coronal distortion. The butterfly effect. Call it whatever you will.
Oh my goodness. What is it? Corrosion of conformity? Is that what we're doing here?
I got to find meet my maker. Literally.
Oh my
Yeah, I think I would just get blown by my dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I think everybody would just prefer to take a blowjob than give one.
I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast before, but doing metal vocals, like when I was first doing like, intense vocals,
You had to suck a dick first.
yeah, no, yes, but
we
also
all
no.
do. Trust me.
So I was really good at screaming, like when there's a full band behind you, a lot of noise, so you have to be louder than the noise. But the moment that you got into an isolated vocal booth, it was really, really difficult to be able to recall that same kind of intensity. And I don't know if you ever...
You're self-conscious about it, or?
So, it's not even a self-conscious thing. It's that you just don't have the intensity behind it. You don't have the volume to try to be louder than. And if you've ever, like, especially us, we're all wearing headphones as we listen to our own voices into a microphone. It's the same thing when you're recording vocals for a band. It's very intimate, very raw. You can hear every imperfection, especially if you're in a professional studio, because the microphones can basically hear you thinking, is how accurate they are. But I was just not nailing these takes for this metal song we were recording. And the engineers stopped. Yeah, this guy I was working for, and he goes, all right, so let's take 5. I was like, all right, cool. And he goes, but, just maybe I can help you along, give you some notes. I was like, all right, cool. And he goes, do you love your mom? I was like, yeah, of course I love my mom. And she's kissed you, she's kissed you on the cheek. You kissed her on the lips a couple times. And I was like, yeah.
And how?
And she goes, and he goes, well, I just want you to know that those same lips have been on your dad's dick. And then he immediately hits record on the track. And I didn't nail it in that take, but it's stuck with me ever since because it was such like him trying his best to psychologically like get me mad.
It's like, that's not true. I know my mother.
She's a good Catholic woman. She doesn't put out. At least not like that.
She doesn't want to get caught again.
Well, that's all the would you rathers I had for you guys. I felt like that would be fun.
It's enjoyable. Yeah. Well, I believe that is going to take us to this glorious conclusion of the 26th semi-annual edition of the Disinformed podcast. So, if you're enjoying what you're hearing right now, you should probably find a mental health care provider soon and see if you can talk some of those issues out, because you obviously enjoy your dad as much as we do. But you can find us in your preferred podcast provider app. You can like, subscribe, and if you dig what we do, rate and review. You can find us on the social networks on Instagram at Disinformed Podcast. Please activate your notifications so you see when we post new content, like this picture of Uncle Touchy. I said notifications. I said notifications.
I don't know.
Yeah, activate your notifications.
Sorry.
You can go to facebook.com/slash.
Fucked your brain.
You can go to facebook.com/disinformed podcast. And on the Twitters, we are at disinformed pod. For the Disinformed podcast, I am Shane.
I'm John.
Oh,
Dad?
Never mind, I forgot what I was going to say.
He is watching Kevin MacLeod eagerly.
Apparently, that's his dad.
He kind of does look like your dad.
No,
Dad?
you dadn't.
Dad? Is that you?
Daddy issues.
He looks
You said
disappointed.
you were leaving
Get a
cigarettes
tissue.
12 years
Hold
ago.
on. Could this be a fade out, maybe? Michael, would you suck his dick? Or get your dick sucked by MacLeod?
I'd suck his dick.
It's the worst game
I
show
am voting
host
for
ever.
a fade out. This is the kind
Nope.
of banter in a fade out.
I'm going to fade you out in about 5 seconds.
If you do, you're going to clean it up.
Plan to.